Hey guys, this is TLDeranging coming at you with another cast. And this time it's going to be a Protoss versus Zerg on Antiga Shipyard. So let's just go ahead and get started. It's going to be over here in the top right hand position. We're going to have Minecraft. And this is actually an alternative account for another player for Purdue University, Mokomi. So he's going to be starting off as the red Protoss. And his opponent up here in the top left-hand position, it's going to be TLRDeranging, and he's going to be spawning as the blue Zerg. So red and blue players, that usually is indicative that this is in fact a ladder game, so it's going to be really interesting to see what ends up happening for these two players. Now we do see pretty standard builds coming out for both of these players. We see Mokomi, or Minecraft, coming up with this pylon over here. Usually this means that he's going to be planning to do some kind of forge fast expand, and this is incredibly common on this map. One thing that is worth noting though is that if a Protoss decides to do this wall off over here at this ramp, there are sometimes some issues where the cannon will be over here to defend the ramp and all the buildings, but then the Zerg can actually build a hatchery right over here at the Protoss's natural expansion, stopping him from really being able to take that on time, and the cannon is actually out of range sometimes, so that can cause a lot of issues if Mokomi is not careful and if TLDeranging does decide to go for that. We don't know if that's going to be the case quite yet. We do see TLDeranging hovering around the drone count that generally you do want to build that spawning pool or your hatchery, and it looks like he's going to opt for that spawning pool. So with this spawning pool going down, this is generally the safer play. Oftentimes Zerg feel the need that they have to go for that spawning pool before the hatchery. Otherwise, the Protoss can use this forge right here to do all kinds of crazy shenanigans that if the Zerg decides to take a hatchery first, the Protoss can start building pylons and cannons back here to try and force a cancel. So the Protoss can be very, very annoying with that Forge Fast Expand build. Now we are going to see this oh so annoying probe blocking that expansion. There's the big, let's see, I think it was seven-sided. I actually don't know what the name of a seven-sided polygon is, or shape, sorry. But oh, there we see another eight-sided one this time, and it looks like this probe is just going to be quite annoying, delaying this as long as possible. Now we can see TLDeranging really wants to get that hatchery down. He was actually floating up at about 450 minerals, but we do see the pylon block going on. That's going to stop this drone from really being able to do anything. And ooh, a great snipe there. Actually, Mokomi should have been trying to do his best job to keep that probe alive as long as possible. I don't actually know if he got to even see this gas geyser over here, as the probe died around here. So usually the Protoss does want to land this pylon down, not only to block this expansion for a little bit longer, but also so that the probe can go ahead and safely check for this gas geyser to see whether or not speed will be incoming for those Zerglings. And Mokomi really not able to do that, as looks like a good play from TLDeranging, be able to pick that off with just drones before the Zerglings even really came out. And now that that pylon's finally been picked off, TLDeranging is going to safely go ahead and take that expansion and send out these couple of Zerglings. He does have two more on the way, but he's going to probably try and stay at a minimal number of Zerglings. He's going to be go ahead and look around for any proxy pylons. Now this is really solid play, and oh my god, look at this, TLDeranging actually going for the very, very fast gold expansion, actually before his natural expansion is even finished up. So going to be taking a very risky play and likely just hoping that Mokomi in fact does not scout this. And we're going to have to see if Mokomi does scout it, and if he does scout it in time. Meanwhile, we do see Mokomi, or Minecraft, I'm just going to call him the red Protoss. The red Protoss has finished up his natural expansion. Does have both of these gas, so usually if a Protoss takes both of these gas fairly early, I usually am expecting some kind of Stargate play. Maybe occasionally you might see some kind of Blink Stalker play, but we also see that there is in fact no +1 upgrade being researched quite yet. He doesn't quite have the gas for that, as he wants to make sure that he has enough for the warp gate technology first. So we're going to end up seeing how all of this plays out. Mokomi is likely going to be trying to put on some kind of two-base aggression, so look out for that in the future. That's going to be coming up pretty gosh darn soon, maybe like 4 or 5 minutes, I would imagine at least. Now we do see the drone transfer going down. This is quite a few drones that are not mining as they walk all the way across the map. But you know, Deranging, he's going to have a very healthy time catching back up in that economy from transferring those drones. Just by mining from this gold expansion, he's going to have a huge influx of minerals. Now one thing I'm curious to see is whether or not he'll actually be able to spend all of those minerals given the larvae he'll have. I don't think he'll have too many issues. And we will see that both of these queens are going to be popping out, as the queen in the main has already popped out. We do see that speedling research going down, so he will have a little bit more map control with these speedlings or zerglings. As you can see right now, this probe can actually outrun them. The probe not really getting to see anything too significant. He didn't even get to really see the speed being researched, but you know, it's not too big of a deal. He did get a pretty decent count on how many zerglings were made. Based on that, he can probably infer around how many drones there are. But I think the one thing that's, oh my god, actually, wow, a beautiful scouting play from Mokomi, the red Protoss, actually sending the Zealot out. Probably, I think he actually grabbed the Xel'Naga Tower, did he? Yeah, it looks like he grabbed the Xel'Naga Tower, saw that this gold expansion was in fact down, and now he knows all about it. We can actually see he also did a little bit of damage, killing off about 4 workers. Wow, that's a really good play just for the cost of 1 Zealot. Wow, I'm pretty sure that Mokomi is going to be putting on some kind of big aggression. We actually see a Twilight Council going down, so we might be seeing that Blink Stalker play that I was mentioning before with the Heavy Stalker aggression. And we also see +1 researching. We see that 4th Gas Geyser being taken. Wouldn't be too surprised to see just a couple more additional gateways going down right now. And there we see 1, maybe we might see about 2. I wouldn't be too surprised if he went up to at least 6, maybe 7. And there we see it. Blink Stalker just being researched, and he's likely going to be trying to put on some big aggression over at this gold base. He's going to want to shut this down as soon as possible. Now he could go for the natural expansion. I feel like that might be a bit of a riskier play though, and I wouldn't really like that decision quite as much, as it's a little bit of a more difficult journey to make in over here, as there will be 2 hatcheries reinforcing all their units to deal with any push that Mokomi does decide to go for. This gold expansion much more vulnerable, and I feel like Mokomi will be much better off attacking that anyways. So now we do see we have a couple of gateways going on. I'm just going to see if I can get a gateway count. We do see only 5 gateways for right now. Mokomi still adding on. There's 6 and 7, so this looks like it's probably going to be a 7 gate. Do we have an 8th gateway? Do we have... Almost, there's the 8th gateway. So we're going to have an 8 gateway Blink Stalker play. So this is going to be a huge pressure build. Mokomi likely not going to have the economy to really try and do an expansion play right after this, or at least during this. So this is going to be a pretty intense all-in from Mokomi. It actually only has 2 guys on gas. It's a little bit of a mistake over here. At least I suspect. I don't know if he's actually planned this out and seen exactly how much gas he needs for a Blink Stalker play. But we're going to find out. We do see a couple sentries being warped in along with that Stalker. The sentry is also important to get earlier on, because that will let them build up a lot of force field energy for later on to deal with this massive Zergling count. And we can see over here, Deranging actually already kind of expecting that Mokomi will put on that pressure. As I said about 5 minutes ago, we could expect Mokomi to be putting on that pressure pretty gosh darn soon. We see the blink finishing. That's going to key Mokomi in to go ahead and put on that pressure. The Zerglings are actually already in a pretty good position to defend, and here we see the roaches already popping out as well. We see a couple more roaches over here, so we're going to see if they get there in time to deal with this big pressure. And Mokomi's going to move out across the map. He does need to plant down a proxy pylon. I don't see a probe with this army. That could be a huge mistake for Mokomi if he does not have that proxy pylon. We do see that units being warped in from this proxy pylon instead, but I'm not sure if that's going to be quite enough. We do see the Zerglings getting a pretty decent surround, but the great force fields cutting the roaches off from all the Zerglings. The Zerglings are going to get all picked off. Mokomi doing some pretty decent blink micro to blink back these stalkers that get surrounded. Now it looks like Deranging is going to try and regroup with all of his forces, all of his roaches, and try and make sure that he can do the damage and defense that he needs to. Mokomi going to go ahead and move in, and just using this gold expansion and this hatchery as a great way to build some surface area to stop the Zerglings from really getting a good position on these stalkers. It looks like Deranging going to try and go for the high ground advantage. It's going to go ahead and try and snipe this expansion, but Mokomi trying to back off a little bit, using this ramp to maximum advantage, using the force field to try and pick off as many Zerglings as possible. Oh my god, a beautiful play from Mokomi, getting maximum damage with all of these units by just making sure that Deranging really can't attack with both his Zerglings and his roaches, making him forcing Deranging to only be able to attack with roaches or Zerglings. And now we do see the sentries finally getting picked off. There's only a couple of force fields left. Mokomi actually opting to use the Guardian Shield, which got picked off immediately. A lot of Blink Micro going on, and these roaches are not quite enough. I don't think he's going to be able to clean up Mokomi's army. Mokomi doing a fantastic job blinking back the weakened stalkers. We can see here almost all of these stalkers have full health and only have lost shields. So now Mokomi's going to go ahead and push back, and it looks like Deranging actually forced to retreat until he can regroup with some more roaches. Mokomi going to be able to deny mining from here again. He's being so gosh darn annoying with these stalkers. And in the meanwhile, it looks like Deranging might be just saying, hey, you know what, I think that this base is going to go down. I'm just going to give up on it. I'm going to have expanded over here secretly and going to see how much damage I can do with these roaches as a counterattack. But it looks like Mokomi only not quite defended for it. He does have one cannon trying to get down some more pylons to maybe block off the roaches, but Mokomi is going to be forced to back up as soon as he snipes off that gold expansion. Now the roaches are going to be coming in and dealing massive amounts of damage to the probe count. We can see here the probe count slowly dwindling down all the way to 40 right now, but that does put Mokomi a little bit behind in the count for workers, but it looks like these roaches are going to be completely trapped, and that's going to be Mokomi's saving grace if he can manage to pick off the rest of these roaches without losing too much more. Now, picking off these roaches will be a pretty good win for Mokomi, because you have to make sure that he minimizes how many workers he ends up losing, as Deranging is going to be pretty happy getting an economic lead out of this, since he does already have that third expansion down already, and these roaches doing a good job making sure that the target firing down more and more workers, not really focusing down on the stalkers, as I'm pretty sure he feels that he won't be able to kill quite enough to really make it worth his while. Now we do see the end of the roaches really getting cleaned up, some of the probes getting transferred back, but we can see here there's not a lot of saturation over at this base, and that's going to really cause Mokomi quite a few problems. We can see here, though, Mokomi does have a very, very scary stalker force, and now the next big thing that Deranging is going to have to worry about is holding off this big stalker aggression. Now he does have this third, but it's not quite going to be mining yet. He does have a couple of drones that are going to be popping pretty soon to start mining from there, and he does have a couple of spine crawlers going up, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to get out the huge roach count that he's going to need to defend this. And oh no, actually a couple roaches caught a little bit off guard by themselves, and these stalkers are going to have an easy time picking these off. And I wouldn't be surprised, there's the blink forward from Mokomi that I was about to talk about. Mokomi able to pick off all of these roaches in small numbers before they can really group up into huge numbers. Now, Mokomi does need to make sure that he micros us really well, though, as there are quite a few spine crawlers. He's microing a pretty good job. The stalkers do vastly outnumber the number of roaches, but Deranging is pulling out the queens. The drones actually coming out too, so Mokomi might even be able to even up the worker count, even if this pressure ends up not working out. And we do see pretty good blink stalker micro. The roaches are slowly dwindling in their health, and the stalkers getting to advance once again. More roaches going to be popping out pretty gosh darn soon, and it looks like most of the drones from the natural expansion are completely dead now, and all the roaches slowly starting to get picked off. Now the overlords over here are going to get picked off. That's not going to really supply block Deranging, though, as he's already lost so many units, and he has so much supply that's just completely not existing there anymore. Those overlords are covering for. And now these roaches are slowly just getting picked off one at a time, and we are going to see the good game from Deranging. A very intense and close game, but I think that Deranging maybe just got a little bit too greedy, trying to go for that very, very fast gold expansion. that unluckily for him actually got scouted by Mokomi. And Mokomi, a really good job on scouting, making sure that there in fact was no hidden expansions coming down by grabbing that Xel'Naga watchtower. And you know, a lot of players will think, oh, well, if my opponent is going to spawn directly across from me, then I don't really have to worry about, you know, scouting the rest of the map. And Mokomi really is saying, you know what, no, it's going to be worth taking this Xel'Naga watchtower just because I can check for things like where the golds are. I can make sure that I have just a little bit more map control. So I think that in combination with all of those roaches getting sacrificed, even though he did a lot of economic damage, he sacrificed maybe just too many roaches to really be able to hold off the big counter aggression from Mokomi. So great job by both players, and that's actually going to put Mokomi up in this 1-0 ladder series. So congratulations to Mokomi for winning this game. This has been Fear Dragon, and by the way, I'm taking replays. If anyone has any, you want to send them to me, you can send them to feardragon64@gmail.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know in the comments below if you have any feedback, and I'll catch you guys later.